Have you ever felt chained to a relationship or situation that drains your spirit, leaving you feeling lost and powerless? Picture this. It's yet another sleepless night, and you're replaying those painful conversations with a lover who's become distant, a friend who's turned critical, or a family member whose expectations weigh heavily on your heart. The more you try to hold on, the more it seems to tear you apart from the inside. You're caught in a relentless storm of emotions, desperately seeking a haven of calm and clarity. Does this sound painfully familiar? In our lives, the ability to detach from harmful relationships and situations is not just a skill, it's a necessity for preserving our emotional well-being. Yet so many of us struggle with letting go, often clinging to toxic connections out of fear, obligation, or habit, even when they leave us feeling depleted and distraught. But what if there were ancient wisdom that could guide us through these turbulent waters? What if the secret to finding peace and empowerment in the midst of all this chaos lay in teachings that have stood the test of time? Today we delve into the profound philosophy of Stoicism, an age-old yet remarkably relevant guide to mastering the art of emotional detachment. Whether it's a draining relationship, an unfulfilling job, or a challenging family dynamic, the Stoic wisdom we explore here offers practical and transformative steps to regain control of your emotions and reclaim your peace of mind. Prepare to embark on a journey that will not only provide the answers you seek, but also equip you with timeless strategies to navigate life's complexities with grace and resilience. In Stoic philosophy, the emphasis is often on self-reflection and gaining clarity through thoughtful detachment. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This highlights the importance of reflection and listening over immediate reaction, a principle that can be applied to the concept of temporary distance. A practical approach to this starts by recognizing the need for distance. Begin by identifying situations or relationships where your emotions feel particularly intense or overwhelming. These are often the scenarios where temporary distance can be most beneficial. Acknowledge that stepping back is not a sign of weakness, but a strategic move for clarity and better decision-making. Next, implement temporary distance. Decide on a suitable period for this distance. It could be a few hours, days, or even weeks, depending on the situation. During this time, focus on activities that promote calmness and clarity. This could include meditation, journaling, or spending time in nature. Use this period of detachment to reflect on the teachings of Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Consider what aspects of the situation are within your control. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation? How can I respond in a way that aligns with my values and promotes my growth? Stoicism teaches the management of emotions to not let them cloud our judgment. During your period of temporary distance, practice observing your emotions without being swept away by them. Techniques like mindfulness or Stoic meditation can be particularly helpful in maintaining this emotional equilibrium. Once the period of temporary distance is over, re-engage with the person or situation with a fresh perspective. Remember, the goal of this temporary distance is not to avoid the problem, but to approach it with a clearer, more rational mindset. After re-engaging, assess how the temporary distance has impacted your approach to the situation. Has it allowed you to handle things more calmly and rationally? Use your findings to inform future decisions on when and how to implement temporary distance for effective problem solving. Temporary distance, as guided by Stoic principles, is a powerful tool for gaining clarity and making reasoned decisions. It allows us to step back, reflect, and re-engage with a renewed perspective, ensuring that our responses are aligned with our deepest values and rational thinking. By incorporating this practice into our lives, we can navigate complex situations and relationships with greater wisdom and emotional resilience. With our minds calm from the act of temporary distancing, we are now ready to begin evaluating our relationships. Stoicism teaches us the importance of relationships that contribute positively to our moral and personal growth. Marcus Aurelius, a prominent Stoic philosopher, offers a profound insight into this, We are made for cooperation, like feet, like hands, like eyelids. This metaphor highlights the naturalness and necessity of constructive relationships in human life, much like the interdependence of body parts. A practical approach to this starts with reflection on current relationships. Begin by examining your current relationships. Are they cooperative and mutually beneficial, or do they drain your emotional and moral energy? Consider maintaining a journal to reflect on the interactions you have with people in your life. Note down how you feel after each interaction: uplifted, neutral, or drained. Marcus Aurelius also advises, accept the things to which fate binds you and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. This suggests a deep acceptance and engagement in relationships that are a part of your life. Ask yourself, do these relationships align with your values and life goals? Are they helping you grow as a person? Stoicism doesn't advocate for emotional suppression, but rather for understanding and controlling destructive emotions. Reflect on whether your emotional involvement in relationships is balanced or overwhelming. Practice mindfulness techniques to observe your emotions without judgment, especially in the context of these relationships. Engage in conversations with trusted friends or family members about your relationships. A fresh perspective can often provide valuable insights. Remember Epictetus's words, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Use this approach in your conversations to truly understand and contemplate the feedback you receive. If a relationship is found to be more harmful than beneficial, consider the Stoic approach of focusing on what's within your control, your involvement, and your attitude towards the relationship. Sometimes detachment or setting boundaries might be the necessary steps for your emotional and moral well-being. Evaluating relationships through a Stoic lens involves a careful balance of engagement and emotional regulation. It's about nurturing relationships that contribute positively to your life and handling others with a rational yet compassionate approach. This Stoic practice not only enhances personal well-being, but also contributes to a harmonious life aligned with your core values. Having evaluated our relationships, we are ready to consider seeking philosophical friendships for more meaningful connections. In Stoicism, the concept of philosophical friendship is highly valued. It's not just about socializing or superficial connections, but about forming relationships that encourage mutual growth, honesty, and reflection. Seneca, a Stoic philosopher, eloquently stated, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future, not to amuse ourselves with either hopes or fears, but to rest satisfied with what we have, which is sufficient. For he that is so wants nothing." This implies that true friends help us live in the present and find contentment in our current state. A practical approach to this starts with reflecting on your current friendships. Consider which ones challenge you intellectually, encourage your personal growth, and offer honest, constructive feedback. A philosophical friend is someone with whom you can discuss deeper topics beyond the mundane, exploring ideas, ethics, and personal growth. Initiate deeper conversations with friends who show an interest in personal and moral development. Share your thoughts on Stoic philosophies or other intellectual topics to gauge their interest. Remember, a philosophical friendship is a two-way street. Be open to listening and learning as much as you are to sharing and guiding. Establish trust and openness in your conversations. A philosophical friendship thrives in an environment where both parties feel safe to express their thoughts and doubts. Encourage a non-judgmental and supportive atmosphere where both of you can explore ideas without fear of ridicule or dismissal. Reflect on Stoic teachings about control and acceptance. In your friendships, focus on what you can control: your responses, your openness, and your support. Epictetus's guidance, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak," is crucial here. Be an active listener, valuing your friends' perspectives as much as your own. Regularly engage in activities that foster philosophical discussion, such as book clubs, attending lectures, or simple walks in nature for deeper conversations. Continuously support each other's personal and moral development, celebrating growth and offering help during challenges. Philosophical friendship, as viewed through the lens of Stoicism, is about cultivating connections that enrich our lives and encourage our moral and intellectual growth. Next, we are ready to discuss control emotional reactions. Stoicism teaches the importance of understanding and controlling emotions to prevent them from overwhelming reason and logic. Marcus Aurelius, a key figure in Stoicism, advises, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This underscores the Stoic belief that while we cannot control external events, we can control our reactions to them. A practical approach to this starts with recognizing emotional triggers. Begin by identifying situations or events that trigger strong emotional responses. Awareness is the first step in gaining control over these reactions. Keeping a journal to note down instances where you feel overwhelmed by emotions can be a helpful tool in recognizing patterns and triggers. When faced with a situation that elicits a strong emotional response, pause and reflect. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If not, focus on how you can respond in a way that aligns with your values and rational thinking. Reflect on the words of Epictetus, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This encourages a focus on response rather than the event itself. Engage in mindfulness practices or Stoic meditation to cultivate a habit of observing your emotions without immediately reacting to them. These practices help in creating a space between stimulus and response, giving you time to choose a reasoned reaction. Stoicism is not about suppressing emotions, but managing them effectively. Acknowledge your emotions, understand their source, and then consciously decide how to deal with them. Techniques like cognitive reframing can be useful, reinterpreting a situation in a more positive or neutral light to change your emotional reaction to it. Set aside time regularly for self-reflection. Assess how well you're managing your emotional reactions and where you need improvement. Reflect on your progress and setbacks, using them as learning experiences to strengthen your emotional regulation skills. Controlling emotional reactions through Stoic wisdom is about cultivating a strong, resilient mindset that prioritizes rationality and values over immediate emotional responses. It's a skill that requires practice and self-awareness, but leads to a more peaceful and balanced life. Contemplate outcomes, the Stoic art of forward thinking for wise decision-making. Stoicism teaches the importance of contemplating the potential outcomes of our actions. This form of forward thinking, known as premeditatio malorum in Stoic philosophy, involves anticipating possible future events, especially challenges, to prepare oneself mentally and emotionally. Epictetus's guidance, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters," highlights the value of considering future reactions and consequences. A practical approach to this starts with anticipating possible outcomes. When facing a decision, especially one involving distancing from someone or something, take time to consider all possible outcomes, both positive and negative. Visualize how each outcome could unfold and how it aligns with your values and long-term goals. Use Stoic teachings to guide your contemplation. Ask yourself, what would a Stoic philosopher do in my situation? This can help in aligning your thought process with wisdom and rationality. Reflect on the idea of impermanence and change, as emphasized in Stoicism. How might this perspective influence your contemplation of outcomes? Consider how each potential outcome could affect your personal and moral growth. Stoicism places great importance on personal development and living a virtuous life. Weigh the benefits and drawbacks of each outcome, not just in immediate terms, but also how they might influence your future self. Prepare yourself emotionally for different scenarios. This preparation involves accepting that some outcomes, no matter how well you plan, are outside your control. Use techniques like Stoic meditation to mentally rehearse how you would cope with less favorable outcomes, thereby reducing future shock or emotional turmoil. After contemplating various outcomes, make your decision based on rational analysis and alignment with your core values. Remember, Stoicism teaches the value of making decisions with a clear, untroubled mind. Ensure your decision is not clouded by temporary emotions or impulses. Pause social media, a Stoic approach to digital detachment. While Stoic philosophers didn't contend with social media, their teachings on self-control and focusing on what truly matters are highly relevant in this context. Marcus Aurelius, noted for his reflections on inner peace, might have advocated for a disciplined approach to digital consumption, emphasizing the importance of maintaining control over our impulses and attention. A practical approach to this starts by observing how social media affects your emotions and thoughts. Does it bring more anxiety, distraction, or negative comparisons into your life? Journal your observations. Note the frequency and duration of your social media use and the consequent emotional states. Set clear boundaries for social media use. Limit your daily or weekly usage and be intentional about the times you choose to log in. Remember Epictetus's advice. We are disturbed not by what happens to us, but by our thoughts about what happens. Consider how social media shapes your thoughts and responses to life events. Use the Stoic dichotomy of control to guide your social media habits. Acknowledge that while you can't control everything you see online, you can control how you react and how much time you spend on these platforms. Redirect the time and energy saved from reduced social media use to activities within your control that contribute to your growth and well-being. When using social media, do so mindfully. Be aware of the content you consume and its impact on your thoughts and emotions. Engage in digital practices that align with Stoic virtues, such as following accounts that inspire and educate, rather than those that foster envy or negativity. Balance your online interactions with real-life connections. Stoicism values genuine relationships and community engagement. Organize or participate in activities that encourage face-to-face interactions, fostering a sense of community and belonging. Pausing social media is not just about reducing screen time, it's about regaining control over our attention and priorities. Prioritize your needs. Stoic guidance for focused living. Stoicism teaches us to differentiate between what we need and what we desire, emphasizing the importance of focusing on needs that are essential for our moral and personal development. Epictetus famously said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." This highlights the Stoic view of focusing on our internal needs and responses rather than external wants and events. A practical approach to this starts by reflect on what is truly necessary for your well-being and growth. These might include emotional needs like peace of mind, intellectual needs like learning and personal growth, and physical needs like health and sustenance. Distinguish these from non-essential desires, which often include material possessions, social status, and external validation. Embrace a Stoic approach to living simply. This doesn't mean denying all pleasures, but rather finding contentment in meeting your essential needs without excess. Marcus Aurelius offers wisdom on this. Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. Use the Stoic dichotomy of control to guide your priorities. Focus your energy on needs you can directly influence or fulfill, such as your attitude, choices, and actions. Accept that some external desires, like the approval of others or certain material comforts, are beyond your direct control and therefore should not be central to your happiness. Develop a sense of self-reliance in meeting your needs. Stoicism teaches the value of being internally driven and not overly dependent on external sources for fulfillment. Practice mindfulness and self-reflection to strengthen your understanding of your needs and your ability to meet them independently. Balance your personal needs with your responsibilities to others. Stoicism does not advocate for self-centeredness, but rather for a harmonious balance between self-care and duty to others. Reflect on how fulfilling your essential needs enables you to be a more present and effective individual in your personal and professional relationships. As we draw the curtains on our exploration of Stoic wisdom and its application to detaching from people and situations that hinder our well-being, it's important to recognize that the journey you've embarked upon is not a one-time voyage, but a continuous process of growth and self-discovery. We delved into the ancient yet timeless teachings of Stoicism, not just as a set of instructions, but as a beacon to guide you through life's tumultuous seas. Now, armed with these insights, consider how your perspective has shifted. Reflect on the newfound strength that lies within you, the strength to pause, evaluate, and choose a path that leads to tranquility and personal growth. You've learned the art of stepping back to gain clarity, the courage to evaluate and nurture relationships that truly matter, and the wisdom to control your emotional tides rather than being controlled by them. As you move forward, remember that the power to detach from draining situations and toxic relationships is not just an act of survival, but an act of profound self-love and respect. The Stoic principles you've encountered here are not mere words, they are tools for liberation, for crafting a life that resonates with peace, dignity, and purpose. So, as you close this chapter, take a moment to ponder, not just on the lessons learned, but on how they resonate with your personal narrative. Let these teachings simmer in your mind and heart, influencing your decisions and interactions. The path to emotional detachment and inner peace is uniquely yours, but rest assured, you now have the wisdom of the ages as your compass. May this journey of self-discovery and empowerment be as enlightening as it is liberating. The answers you sought were always within you, waiting to be uncovered through reflection, courage, and a steadfast commitment to your personal well-being. Carry these lessons forward and let them illuminate your path to a serene and balanced life.